Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Trash Talk Podcast, the show where we talk about period politics of Namibia, right?
And we'll kidnap your children for free.
Okay. What? What's up, guys? Welcome back. Consistency is our name. Today we're going to be talking about near-death experiences. Wow.
Ooh. Very mysterious.
Yeah, I've had a few of those, and both of them are pretty recent.
Mine aren't recent, but I do have one from several years ago, for sure.
Oh, well, we were including old ones? Yeah, then I have a lot.
Okay, let's just pick a few, because we don't want to be talking about your YouTube channel for the entire episode.
Okay.
I can't say anything.
Wow.
I've not uploaded in a while on mine. I mean, I have, but my track record.
Yeah, he just posted a video that's basically a plug.
Hey, you know what? It was a good plug. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
so,
it was pretty funny. I did think it was weird that months without uploading, and it's just an ad.
Is this his trash talk? One of my viewers actually asked me, he's like, you're going to be talking trash, you're roasting people? Yeah, each other, pretty much. I mean, it's not a roast show.
That's a good point. It's actually a cooking show. Today we're going to teach you how to make some sushi.
Sushi, wow. Very nice.
Anyway, so our near-death experiences.
All right, you want to start?
I have a lot, so okay, I'll start. I have a lot of them.
All right.
So my most recent one was I got hit by a cab.
What the hell? That's a great way to start off your list.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I was riding my bike to school, and there's this there's a traffic light for bikes and one for cars because the bike lane crosses through the biggest street. They're not moving because they were stuck. The cars were stuck, and I'm crossing. I'm halfway through, and in that instant, the taxi driver decides, you know what? There's a guy in front of me. I'm gonna let go of the brake.
I'm just gonna straight out hit him. Like, what the hell? It's
yeah.
I mean, we hide bodies anyway, so might as fucking well.
Yeah. So he hit me, and I just got up, and he bent the back of my bike. Like, I didn't get it hit, just the bike.
Oh, that's
so yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm fine. The back of the bike is was kind of like twisted, like bent,
like a pretzel.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So the guy I just ran away. It's like I was technically not supposed to be crossing, even though he wasn't supposed to be moving either. But
you do you any favors the first time. Why go back?
So I just like, well, I guess I'm going home. I'm gonna have to carry the bike all the way back home. I guess I'll
just hoist the bike over my shoulder and call it a day. Why not?
Yeah, although I wasn't that far away from my house, but
that's good then.
I was just walking, and this older guy's like, "Oh, you can just like unbend the bike," and I was like, "How?"
My gosh. And
he just tells me, "Oh, just plop it in one of these like places where you can park your bike." You know those? Yeah,
I've seen those. They actually have those kind of stations down like my college campus, for example.
Yeah, so I just plopped it in one of those because through the bike path, there's a lot of these resting spots where you could just sit down and plop your bike there whilst you rest, which are cool.
Pretty convenient.
Yeah, so she just tells me, oh, you can just plop it there and, you can try and unbend it. And that's what I did. I didn't do a perfect job because there's still like a wee bit bent. So like my bike would stop every 5 seconds because, it would get stuck.
I literally thought you were going to say next, I put the bike down to unbend it. 3 dudes roll up behind me with guns saying, give us your bike, you idiot. I'm going to off your ass. I thought you were going to say it was or something.
That's what happened after, but...
Oh, was it? Oh, you got robbed by 3 dudes for a bike afterwards. This is the worst theft ever.
No, but I just did my best at unbending it, and then I just took it to the shop and they fixed it.
That's good then. At least you didn't have a bent bike.
Yeah. Although it was really hard to ride my bike that week because my school is like on top of a hill.
Oh, dude, I had to sucked.
Yeah, it was great exercise though.
Good exercise, maybe, but not for a broken bike.
No, it was hell. Like, even the way down was kind of dangerous because the bike would stop every now and then. So, like, if I was going downhill, it was it was very dangerous. So
well, there's also an increased risk of you crashing if that bike decides to give way since it's already broken.
Anyways, what's your near-death experience?
All right, so for the near-death experience for this one,
I was drinking around bleach.
Actually, this was around the Tide Pod craze of 2018. So I got...
Dude, I just realized people are recreating that basically, but unironically right now.
The president announced in a public statement, for those of you who don't know, he basically said, no matter if it was a joke or not, he said it, in order to cure yourself of the coronavirus, you inject disinfectant into your body.
Yeah, that was...
Idiots.
Like that happened literally after we finished filming last week's episode. And me and Ryan were just talking, and I was... hanging out post-podcast, talking about other stuff. And I opened Twitter, and
lo and behold.
And I don't know, and lo and behold, it's like, he literally said it like 2 minutes ago, and in New York, there was already people
trying it.
Yeah.
Governor of my state apparently said in an interview that he had hundreds of phone calls of people asking him if it was okay to inject disinfectant into their bodies.
Really?
So bad. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
Actually, we're drifting away from the topic, but side note, April 30th was Mexican Children's Day.
Oh, nice.
So, and every night they've been having like press conferences where the Secretary of Health addresses the nation and says like updates and whatever. Mm-hmm. But that day he did like a special sort of conference where they invited a bunch of kids, and kids asked him questions, and one of the questions was like, why don't we inject soap like they said
oh
in the
my
US?
God.
And the Secretary of Health was like, yo, no, don't do that, doesn't matter who says it's okay.
Look, everyone listening to the podcast, this is a public service announcement from the people of the Trash Talk podcast. Don't inject disinfectant in your body. Drink bleach. It's much safer, okay? Just drink bleach, okay? If you're dumb enough to believe that, you deserve to drink it. Now, wait, hold on a second here. It was a joke. It was satire. Don't actually drink anything. We are not responsible. I am not responsible.
On a side note, this episode is brought to you by Lysol Spray. Lysol Spray is the best.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I'll get to mine before. But don't use disinfectant, you morons. Please don't. Oh gosh. All right, but yeah. Anyway, my near-death experience. It wasn't something epic like a bike, but it did involve a motorbike. If that changes it up any. Just hear me out on this one, all right? So this one's a bit more epic than your story. I didn't get my bike back. Okay, I didn't get hit by a car. I've never been hit by a car. But there was one time I was going on a bike ride with my family, and there were some like family friends. This is when I was really young. I was about, I'd say 8 or 9 at the time. We were driving around, went to like this kind of known water hole around the area that I live in. It's like right down there on like trying to think. It's like the Outer Banks of like northern Pennsylvania or something like that. But it's located in that kind of area. But when we were coming back, we had a fun time. It was a good day and all. It was fantastic. It was epic. It was epic before epic was epic.
Was it epic though?
Yes, you have no idea. It was lit, man. It was lit before lit was. But yeah, absolutely. But when we were coming back, we were going up this steep hill that I already had problems on. I literally flipped over my bike. I was riding a 4-wheeler at the time, and I flipped over on. And I was already afraid to go up this trail, man. I was scared. I was like, this is going to be the worst part of the trek back. So we were going up the hill, and I turned and looked for a second on like this rock face. The hill that we were going up had a bunch of thorn bushes underneath of it and a set of train tracks underneath of it. And it was pretty steep. It was a pretty steep cliffside. I looked away for a second. I turned my 4-wheeler to the left and went over the embankment and got tore the fuck up by thorn bushes. I looked like an amputee victim that went through a bunch of buzz saws. I was scratched up all over my body, and I went head over first over the entire cliff. And I landed near the train tracks. I wasn't sure what had happened at first, and then I hear all my family members and people in the group going, Ryan, are you okay?
Wait, your name isn't the boss?
Yeah, This was before Boss was a
The nostalgia factor. Are you okay?
no. This was way before the Boss was a thing. Like many years. This was I was a kid. So yeah, long time before.
How old were you?
I was gonna say like 7 or 8, something like that.
Okay. Wait, you let a 7-year-old drive a motorcycle?
It wasn't a motorcycle. No, it was one of those starter like 4-wheelers. I could drive it fine, very much. But
I'm gonna call Child Protective Services.
No, it's okay.
Even though it was like 13 years ago.
Exactly. Like, what happened? So, yeah, this random guy, he was driving a 4-wheeler. What did he do? Nothing. He just hurt himself.
He just broke his ass.
He just broke. He broke every bone in his ass. Yeah. Call the authorities now.
Yeah. The Child Protection Services people would start laughing. It's like, oh, fun story, dude. Thanks for calling.
Oh my gosh, I would love to see that court case. What's the reason that you're bringing this young child and their parents to the court today? Oh, he broke every bone in his ass. He was driving a car. I mean, a 4-wheeler. Idiots don't even know what a 4-wheeler is. Dummies.
I mean, I have a friend that did the same thing, but with a bicycle.
Oh gosh.
So I don't even know how he gained so much speed as to get over that hill, but he basically did the same thing, except he landed neck first, so he broke his neck.
I didn't land neck first. I was luckily wearing a helmet at the time. I still wear a helmet whenever I ride.
My friend wasn't wearing a helmet, but
that's so boy. But yeah, to wrap mine up, that was basically the gist of it. I got back, I cleaned myself off, and I had scratches all over my body. I literally did look like an amputee victim. I had those scratches for a long time afterwards. It was not a fun experience, and I could have broke my neck, but I'm still here to have more inconsistent uploads onto Boss. So look out for those.
And on the Trash Talk podcast, don't forget about that.
Yeah, we're the most inconsistent podcast on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify and Anchor.
Also, if you're listening on Anchor, you can send us voice memos that we can hear here on the podcast. I have another near-death experience. I don't remember when this was. I was very young, but I was with my grandpa and my sister, and we were at the mall.
Oh boy,
and we were just walking. I think the mall was empty that day because it was a weekday. I don't remember, but we were with my grandpa.
All right.
And we were just walking through the halls of the mall. There's this part that they were... I guess there were no shops in that part. I don't know why. But we were just walking, and suddenly the ceiling starts to crack.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so my grandpa grabs me and my sister and just runs to a supply closet.
Oh my.
And all I remember is the ceiling just falling.
What? I was you piss off to bring Armageddon upon this poor shopping mall?
It was like, shit.
That's my question. The ceiling. I thought you were going to say, you fell off an escalator. You got jumped by somebody. No, the ceiling imploded on itself. What?
What? Yeah, no, it's... I can ask my sister about that. Amalia? Well, everybody hears we have a very special guest, my sister.
Lovely.
Well, I remember my brother, he's very...
epic.
Spacey.
Spacey? What's that supposed to mean? Fat?
No, so you're never in the moment. You're always very distracted. So we were walking around, and I was talking to Grandpa, and you were watching the ceiling.
Well, because it was about to crack, dude.
And we were like, this weird dude just watching the ceiling, whatever. Okay.
It's my sixth sense, dude.
Oh my
No, it was very weird because you were walking and you were looking up and we were like, okay, this dude's gonna smash into someone or something.
The store was empty, though.
So we were walking, and then suddenly my brother was like, watch out! And
I saved you.
Yes. My grandpa looked up and he saw the ceiling was collapsing, so he pulled us into the nearest closet. And we almost died. I didn't see anything, but I remember.
Yeah, how do you remember more? I just remembered crack, run into the supply closet.
Because I was so scared, and I remember afterwards...
Can you get closer to the mic?
They took us to our parents because we were very scared. They took us to this amusement park. And
yeah, that was pretty
so we were playing and we were laughing, and they were like, so do you feel better? And I was like, no, because I didn't want to leave. So yeah, that's all.
Okay, I don't remember that part. But yeah, thank you. That was my sister, everybody.
Official guest podcast season.
As
2.
you can now you can officially confirm that my story isn't fake.
Yeah, definitely.
The next podcast, we're gonna track down the cab driver that ran me over.
This is real. Why did you try and kill this young boy? I just really hated that bike. I never had one as a.
Do you have any more near-death experiences?
I'm trying to think. The cliff one was definitely the. Whenever you brought it up, like near-death experiences, that's definitely the one that stuck out to me when I went over that.
Yeah.
Fallish cliff. I'm trying to think if there was any other ones. There was one time that I was on a bike trail, and it was one of the first times that I remember I went biking in that particular city. And when I was driving, I'm not driving, but I was biking through with my family. It's also by a set of train tracks, as you'll notice as a recurring.
Oh no!
I don't know why. I feel like I'm jinxed with trains because like stop walks they have, like.
I mean, we barely have trains in Mexico, so. I don't know.
They have these. Well, at different points in the tracks, they have like signs that'll go down and tell you to stop when the trains go by.
Okay, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah. And we were going across those, and I waited a sec because I was looking around, just look both ways and whatnot. As soon as I went by, a train, the signs went down. As soon as I went by, I was very, very close to the edge. The train went straight by me. I was like, "What the hell is that?" Holy shit! I was like really close to that train. I was like, if I was sitting there, I might be dead. Dang. So I mean.
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see a train the first time, but the second time I was like, all right then, I'm never riding a train in real life. And I haven't. I have never ridden on a train. I was just saying, I just don't use public transit much in general, like taxis or Uber.
Well, that's kind of bougie. Well, you live in a small town, right? So.
Yeah, kind of small town. It's really close to major towns and counties and whatnot, so, but generally.
How many people leave? How many people live in your town?
Off the top of my head, it's a college town, so it's actually a city.
Oh.
But it's a college town city. So
but like during summer and winter, there's gotta be like no people there.
I mean, resident-wise, there's a few thousand people that are there.
Oh.
Something like that.
No, my city has 1.5 million people.
Oh my gosh. Well then.
So yeah. No, riding public transport. We can't have a subway here in my city because the city floods.
Huh.
Every spring.
I had no idea, actually. Well, I'm not.
So
some places are really low in elevation that they literally just have it.
Yeah, the elevation here is none. I'm willing to bet we're in negative numbers.
Oh god.
Like every time I go to a different place, I'm just dying because of the altitude.
I wish we had a subway here. Dang it.
But no, there's no subway here. There's what we call it, the sort of transport system that works like the subway. We call it the Caterpillar because it's this big green long bus. And that's like over a street. So that's the one I usually ride to get to places. There's also bus system. One time I almost got my ass kicked on the bus.
You showed them your YouTube channel and they're like, "This sucks. Why would you
I was like,
this?"
Guys, have you heard about the Trash Talk podcast available on Anchor and Spotify?
It's like, okay, cool. Who do you do it with? Shows them my picture. Yeah, you better get off. You have 5 seconds to get off this bus.
No, I was like, I think it was like 6 a.m. And to everybody that rides public transport understands it. The earlier you ride the bus or subway or whatever, the worse it is because there's just a ton of people.
Yeah.
So I was there. I was yawning because I was like, it's 6 a.m. and I slept at 5 a.m. So I was just there yawning, and this guy turns around and he like mumbles something, and I don't get it at first, and I go, "What?" Because I was also half asleep.
Yeah.
And he says, "If you bitch ass blow on my ear again, I'm gonna bust your ass." And I was like,
"What?
Okay."
What? I was like, "All right, I won't breathe near you again then. I just won't breathe."
And he turns around and the guy next to me looks at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with this dude?" And I was yeah, but that's what happened. That's what happened. Here's where we get into the bit of the more dangerous part.
Oh, gee.
Because I don't know if you have any more stories.
Near-death experiences?
Yeah, or other people that you know.
Other people I know. I do. Well, there is someone I know that did have about near-death experience. It was a buddy of mine from high school. Haven't really talked to him much in recent years, but we're still on friendly terms. But he early on in high school, no, not high school, like early on in middle school, his appendix. To make a long story short, I don't remember the reason why he mentioned it, but his appendix apparently exploded one day, because he had issues with it in the past. So it exploded one day while he was just going about his business, and he had to be rushed to the ER. And it sounded like it was pretty dang close, because they had to operate on him, they had to remove the appendix, and everyone was pretty freaked out. Everyone thought he was going to go. Luckily, he didn't. He recovered fine. You know, the appendix is one of those organs that isn't really. It's a vital organ regardless, but it's not like your liver or anything like that. But he was fine. He had a nasty scar from it though. He still has it to this day. It's like takes up like about half his stomach that he still has. So I mean, he survived through it, but it could have turned bad pretty quick.
Okay, so I have 3 categories. The first category is poisoning, coma, or street violence. Which category do you want to hear first?
Street violence. Yeah, let's do it.
Street violence. Okay, so as some of you may know, I live in Mexico, and it's one of the most dangerous countries in the continent and in the world.
Oh.
So this happened the night before Oscar night, and I was about to have a bunch of people to my house so we could watch the Oscars.
Wow.
But the night before, I remember I was sitting in this room that I'm filming in, editing the Oscars video, and suddenly we just hear a bang, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened? And usually when you hear a bang here, it means that the power's out, because I don't know how it works, but basically the entire neighborhood has like they call it a transporter.
Transformer?
So that thing, yeah, we're gonna call it a transformer, so it's a cooler story. But basically, the transformer brings power to the entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
And sometimes it explodes if a lot of people are abusing a lot of power.
And they don't have access to it until it's fixed.
Yeah. So we thought that was what happened, and I was like, shit, I'm editing my video, and now there's no electricity.
Yeah.
But no, there's still power. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Like,
and then
noise.
I just keep editing, and then one of my friends texts me. It's like, dude, are you okay? A bomb was dropped in your neighborhood. And I was like, what the fuck?
It's like, that's what a random ass bomb planted in your neighborhood. What?
And someone apparently, what happened was they threw a homemade bomb at one of the convenience stores in my neighborhood.
Of course.
And after that, there was like gunfire, and I was like, well, I'm gonna die. And yeah. That's the street violence story.
Which is, that's unique to one I've heard in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, can you top it, Ryan?
Can I top it?
What they do here is, in certain neighborhoods, is that they ask for, they call it right for floor, like floor rights.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, you start a business in my neighborhood, but I'm in a gang. Oh. So I ask you for extra money for your protection. But in reality, I'm just asking you for money, because otherwise I'm gonna like bomb you, for example.
Basically extortion. You're extorting
somebody
for money. That sounds right.
So that's the way they did it. I don't think they were doing a senior prank. Okay, so we're continuing with the street violence section of the near-death experiences. One time I was chased by a bunch of thugs, by like a gang.
Oh.
I remember it was the day, I think I told this story about the Buffalo Wild Wings that opened in my city, that they were doing this promotion where if you were...
Love that place with by the way.
I've never been to it because of what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, okay.
So I went there, and apparently the first 500 people that arrived there would have free wings for a year, and I got there and I didn't get one. So I was like, fuck you, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, gee.
Fuck you. So I just left, and I was walking down back to my house, and there's like a river. for me to, like, there's a river that crosses the city. Well, I call it a river, but it's like basically drying out. So I was just walking, and like from the river, like these guys jump at me, and I'm like, shit, I'm gonna die. So I just started running, and I crossed the street, and luckily I crossed right when it was about to change to a green light.
Yeah.
So all the cars like crossed, and none of them were able to cross except me.
My gosh. Well,
Street violence.
I don't have any stories like street violence like that. I mean, my biggest experience with Buffalo Wild Wings was burning my face off with ghost pepper wings. If that counts.
Dude, if I ever go to your city, I'm gonna do the challenge you told me about.
You should. Oh yeah, I did tell you about that a little while ago, didn't I?
Yeah, I don't remember if was in a podcast or we were just talking about wings.
It was with the Professor of Politics podcast.
Yeah, that's it, and that's what happened. I would definitely do the challenge.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the challenge for at least like around here for me, and for my Buffalo Wild Wings, there's a challenge where you have 10 ghost pepper wings, and if you eat them in like under 10 minutes, you don't get any water or milk. They give you milk afterwards, even if you fail the challenge, but you don't get any during the course of while you're doing it. If you win, you get your picture on the wall, you win a T-shirt, and you get something else, but I don't remember what else. Basically is what the challenge is. My buddy of mine from college...
Is it at least free?
He got really close.
Oh, man. I would do it during the winter if I go there.
I don't know.
Because, like... I think that'd be better, because it snows there, right, where you live.
Oh, yeah, it snows. I mean, this past winter was kind of but normally, yeah, whenever it snows, it snows.
So, yeah. I would just eat them outside to avoid, like, the heat.
Life hack? What?
Last near-death experience related to street violence. What up? I was saving this for a video, but I call this beach trip the beach trip from hell.
Oh boy!
So every year my school used to do a beach trip. They don't do it anymore because of this.
This should be good.
So a lot of things happened in this beach trip. A lot of people got lost. Someone actually got stung by a manta ray. It was crazy.
Rest in peace, Steve Irwin.
Yeah. I was friends with Steve Irwin, actually. He was in my class. Anyways, like one of my classmates got stung. But the very first day of the trip, we were like ready to leave, everything, but the principal wasn't there.
Uh-oh.
And the principal always went on this trip. And he was late. And we were like, he was talking shit about us. So basically, before the trip, he was talking shit like, if anybody's late, we're not letting them back on the bus. They'll have to catch up to us.
Uh-oh.
and it was ironic because that day he got like an hour late.
Hey, wait, you're not allowed back on the bus. You're going to have to ride Emilio's bike back. Okay? Sorry.
Yeah, dude. Well, this was in 2015. But yeah. This was a while ago. I'm planning on my school vlogs videos. This is actually going to be a segment because this was the 7th grade.
Yeah, your old talks facts. Check it out.
We were late and we were already on the road like an hour late. Everybody was kind of angry because we all wanted more beach time, right? Oh, and well, another important fact that you should know: I live in León, which is it's in a landlocked state, right?
Yeah.
So you have to drive 6 hours out to the beach. We were just driving out, and they start telling us, like, okay, so we're going to off-road for a bit. And we parked in this random-ass bus station in a different city, in Zapopan, which is about 4 hours away from where I live, in a different state. So we stopped there, and it's like, what's going on? And at first, everybody from my school just goes into the 7-Eleven. I love 7-Eleven. It's so cool because we don't have them in my state. Every time I'm in like Mexico City or Guadalajara or any of these cities that actually have 7-Eleven, I take advantage of them because I really like 7-Eleven hot dogs.
Oh, figures as much.
So I'm just like, yeah, hell yeah, 7-Eleven hot dogs. This is epic. And yeah, it's like we're still there. It's like it's been 6 hours and we're still at the 7-Eleven. Right. And when we finally like look at the news, and what happened was that a bunch of drug cartels were burning buses on the highway to block the roads, and that's why we had to stop. And I didn't whoa.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, but what we realized is that if we would have left like when we were originally supposed to leave,
yeah,
we would have gotten like torched.
Oh, well, that's a lovely thought.
So the fact that my principal overslept actually saved our lives.
I don't know. The next time he says give you detention, you may just want to take it.
Yeah, dude, I was like, yeah, bro, you saved our life.
Hell yeah, I'll take that 3-day detention. What did I even do? I just don't like you. I'll take it anyway, man. You saved me.
So yeah, that's the street violence portion of the podcast. I do have a friend that's like has the worst luck. He's gotten mugged like 5 times. But yeah, choose your next category.
What do we got?
To like pick up the mood, coma or poisoning.
Let's go coma.
So I didn't know this happened. This happened, I think I found out about this in one of my 15th birthday. I don't remember. But we were having lunch with my grandpa.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the topic started out, and we were like talking about coma, because my grandpa's a retired doctor.
Oh, that's fair.
So we're just talking about that, and he says, well, Emilio, you used to be in a coma. And I was like, what? It's like, yeah, you were in a coma he's like, you were in a coma for like a week. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, apparently there was this sort of, I got sick with something and they rushed me to the hospital, placed me in a coma.
Like a medically induced coma?
Yeah. And apparently I was in the coma when I was a baby or whatever.
What a revelation.
It's like, this is the most epic moment, and I kind of forgot about it. I actually remembered the other day. It's like, oh yeah, I was in a coma.
That's just a random, like, Vietnam level flashback. Whoa, I was in a coma.
Pretty epic story. Trying to save the mood after I told my drug cartel story.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any coma stories. Obviously, I've never, to my knowledge, experienced anything.
Dude, but now you can brag that they're just like, yeah, my boy, he was in a coma.
Absolutely. It's like, this guy right here pulls a picture up. This guy, he survived a gang. What have you done?
In a coma.
He survived a coma that he doesn't really remember. Boom.
Well,
roasted.
I mean, to be honest, people that were in a coma don't remember it either. So.
Well, don't tell them that. That makes it sound less cool.
It was like, last year, guys, I was in a freaking coma.
It's like, do you remember it? Hell no, I don't. That's how good it was.
I was asleep, you idiot. How was I supposed to remember?
Exactly.
I just woke up and I told the nurse. The nurse told me, it's the year 2020. And I was like, I can't wait to watch my favorite YouTube show, the Boss Anime.
Yeah, checks it. It's like, it's like 4 years late. Don't worry about that.
But yeah, I was in a coma when I was a baby. That's pretty epic.
Well, I haven't. My coma story isn't that cool. I wasn't.
I mean, it's different if you passed out. I feel like everybody.
I was passed out. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, which is actually, I've never talked about this either. Actually, ever. It's a minor detail, but it's never anything I've shared. Twice in my life, this was at the dentist office, and I did have to be knocked out for this. I forget the gas, but twice, 2 different times I had in my 2 back molars on my lower jaw, I had to have fillings put in, like silver fillings, because I had cavities when I was younger. So both times that I had to go to the doctor, they put the fillings in and whatnot, but they gassed me with like, it's not wacky gas, but it's like knockout gas, I guess if you want to call it that. During the entire thing, I was loopy for a little bit. I won't lie. I felt like I was in another dimension when it happened. It was really weird. Okay. The feeling the gas gives you.
I mean, I've had that. They took out a tooth and they drugged me. I don't think it was gas. They injected me with anesthesia, I think it was.
I
thought, okay, I'm gonna be high as shit. I'm gonna film a video. I was filming a Let's Play. I forgot what game.
Oh my God.
But I just passed out. Like I thought, I'm gonna say the funniest shit. But I passed out.
I mean, besides that, though, I don't really know anyone that went into a coma. I mean, that's really my only experience with it.
I beat you in everything. Gang violence, coma.
Man, you have an epic life, man. I'll tell you that much. I definitely want to be murdered by a gang. Oh, yeah. I want to go out there and get killed by a gang. Absolutely. Burned on a bus. Hell yeah.
So after all these stories, Ryan, do you still want to come to Mexico?
And I never said I wanted to go to Mexico, but I mean, maybe, depending on where it is. I don't know.
I mean, I was talking with these guys from Hawaii, and they were just telling me, well, Hawaii was just beaches and stuff.
Yeah.
And they told me, what about Mexico? And it's like, well, there's a lot of beaches as well. There's like a lot of archaeological sites.
Murder.
And then I say, but it's kind of hard to get to some of them because of the cartels.
Yeah.
And I just, what?
Wait, what?
I was like, yeah, well, yeah, that's a thing. And it's like, why do you say it so casually? And it's like, well, I'm just...
It's
and then I tell them the bus story. Shout out to my friends from Hawaii. They don't listen to the show, but shout out to them.
Shout out to Hawaiian bros.
Let's go to the last category. Poisoning. I was poisoned.
Food poisoning or nature poisoning?
Let me tell the story.
Go for it.
So it was in this beach trip. This was year 2 it was in the 8th grade. So the year after the truck burnings. So this time it was super calm. Like, we made record time to the beach. It was epic. The previous year we sort of did an emergency arrival at someone's beach house. And like everybody had to share everything.
Yeah.
But this time around, your group of friends got an apartment in the beach.
Ooh.
What up?
Fancy.
Yeah, they weren't great apartments. Like, honestly, I probably have pictures somewhere, and they look like ass. Everybody would stock up on their own food supplies. Me and my friend Fuad, who has been in some of my videos. What up, Fuad? He just dropped his first single. Shout out to my boy. We got the same apartment, but each apartment had to have an adult, and our adult was actually the principal.
Oh boy, that had to have been fun.
Nah, he's actually pretty cool. It's like weird. Whenever I describe my middle school, everybody's like, that's a real school. Because he was like a super chill back guy. We didn't have to buy food because we were with him. So he had all of the food.
Wow.
I remember the first morning we were like, so me and Fuad are going to go into town to try and buy some cereal. And he was like, what are you talking about? I have a crate filled with food, and we just had pancakes that morning whilst everybody else had just shit.
Oh, wow. Shit on a plate, my favorite breakfast food.
Yeah. So anyways, the other apartments, since when you're a kid, you don't really have sort of an idea of how to cook, so you just buy shit with your parents' money.
Exactly.
So this guy bought like a 3.5 liter bottle of Coca-Cola.
Oh my.
Healthy. So yeah, we were chilling in their apartment, and he tells me, Emilio, drink this. And apparently the night before, he took a glass of Coca-Cola and put sunblock and mosquito repellent.
Yeah.
And he was like, Emilio, drink it. And I was like, okay.
Is this poison?
And then I try it, and I drink it, and it's like, and he tells me what's in it, and I was just like, what?
Like, why would you give me this?
And he was like, epic prank, bro, and he did it to look cool in front of this girl, but the girl was mad at him.
Oh, lovely.
So it didn't work out.
Nope.
But yeah, I was essentially poisoned, and like I just went to sleep. My friend Fuad, he was sleeping in the same room as I, and he told me, dude, in the middle of the night, you got up and started rocking the bed. It's like, what the fuck, dude? But I felt horrible that day. Well, basically, I drank sunblock and mosquito repellent.
Oh wow. That's worse than I thought it was. Damn.
I didn't say what it was. I thought I did.
No, I thought it was like, I thought you were like, I was like really bad alcohol or something that you tried. Like.
No. I mean, I've gotten roofied. If you want to talk
What? You keep.
Yeah. After class, we're just chilling. This was actually not that long ago. This was 2 years ago. And this guy was like, guys, do you want cookies? I was like, my innocent ass was like, sure.
Hey, why not?
And I eat it out and it tasted like ass. And the guy next to him was like, no, I don't want marijuana right now. He was like, what?
It's like, wait, what? You said anything about me?
And my friend, she also ate them, and she just started laughing like a lot. I don't remember, like nothing happened to me.
That's good than there at least. Jeez.
Yeah, that's all the stories I have, near-death experiences. As you may know, I have a higher chance of dying than Ryan.
Clearly, from the sound of it, getting burned on a bus. I mean, my poisoning story isn't having someone drink like really disgusting substances to impress someone. This, my poisoning story is actually.
I didn't even do it to impress someone. They did it, like the kid that did that prank on me. He did it to impress a girl, but the girl just got really mad at him.
Of course, that's what always happens. But for mine, this was again when I was really young. Have you ever heard of or been to a place called Myrtle Beach in South Carolina?
I've never been to South Carolina.
You ever hear about Myrtle Beach at all? Well, this was probably the most consistent vacation spot that I've been to throughout my entire life. I've been to a lot of different places, but if I had to pick one that I've been to the most, it'd be Myrtle Beach. I've been there a lot. But the first time I ever, when I was younger, we went to Myrtle Beach and then we went to Disneyland. Actually, this was Disneyland, but I just want to mention I've been to Myrtle Beach. It's a good spot. But I went to Disney when I was really young for the first time. I've been there twice. Once when I was a kid, once in 2015. And the first time I went there, this was back when I was still around my stepdad and my mom and my sister. Me and my sister were really young. And my mom and my stepdad just got married. Well, we went to a seafood restaurant, and I remember my stepdad, I don't know why he still did this to this day. He ordered probably one of the worst things you could order. You ever try anything called pufferfish?
Pufferfish?
Yeah, you ever try that before?
I've never tried pufferfish, but I know what it is, and it kind of looks disgusting as hell.
Yeah, so it wasn't much, but it was like a little taste of it he tried. Needless to say, regardless, he ate some really bad seafood, and I remember throughout the next day, or at least the start of it, he was extremely sick. It took him the better part of a day just to get over it, because he ate...
yeah, no shit, he just had...
Well, it was either cooked wrong or there was something in it or something along those lines. But he was sick for pretty much the entire day, and it was crazy. I've never seen anyone else get sick though from like a seafood place though. After that, it's been years.
I can't believe I forgot about this. But beach near-death experiences. What up? Yeah, this last time I went to Cancun. Have you heard of Mexico? You've probably heard of Cancun because it's like the most popular.
I've heard of Cancun. Beach
destination in the country. So I went there this January and I drowned twice because I'm an idiot. So I swam during the night, and as you know, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
And I also went into the water whilst they had a red flag, and the lifeguard pulled me out and he was like, "You fucking idiot! What are you doing, you piece of shit?" And then he called me the R word.
Oh. You know, serious.
And like my mom was right there, and she was like, "Well, son, you were kind of an idiot for doing that." I mean, I deserved that because I wasn't supposed to go in. But...
It sounds like you weren't supposed to be in there, pal.
So yeah, I almost drowned within the span of 2 days.
My God.
But that beach trip was a lot of fun. It was the first time actually I've ever was in an airplane with my mom.
I'm trying to think. There was one time that I remember a beach trip. This was years later. This was again with my mom when I was still with her. It was one time we did actually go to Myrtle Beach this time. It was actually
again
our last trips again when I was still with. But she went out. Needless to say, long story short, we were hanging out at the beach all day. Everything seemed fine. She was just wading out there in the waves. The current, unfortunately, down at Myrtle Beach can sometimes drag you out if you go way too far. She was sucked out.
The East Coast, it's something I just realized because this time was the first time I ever swam in the East Coast. Because usually I would just go to the West Coast beaches, and they're really chill. But the water is kind of weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
And the water in the east side is a lot clearer, a lot nicer, but the tide is just brutal.
Yeah, it's not the best, I will admit. And she got sucked out to sea, essentially. My stepdad, after her, in order to get her back. Now, me being a dumb kid at the time, I was like, I can help, and I ran out. I immediately got knocked over by the next big wave and was sucked underwater, and I washed up on shore. And it was not fun. He did get her, and it was fine, but we did not go back to the beach for the rest of that week while we were still there. We stuck to staying on land. I mean, this was when I was relatively younger, like early teens, I would say, 10, 11. Again, this was before the boss.
It was BD.
I was like, hey, I could be Superman. Nope, no way. Ocean's like, fuck you, get your ass back on land. Put me right back.
Yeah, oh my God. But yeah, I think it's time to end this podcast. We've been filming for an hour, and Ryan is as we talk about in every podcast, Ryan is works at a grocery store or something. So he has to work.
I do
during the pandemic,
which is I'm considered essential, and this is funny because I rarely work morning. The days I work a few days because I'm still in college, and it's mostly in the evenings for like 5 to 6 hour shifts roughly, but. For some reason, I'm working tomorrow morning, so at least at the time of this recording. So.
It took a pandemic for people to think of you as essential.
Basically, I'm just waiting for the pandemic so I can actually not have to worry about all the crap that goes with it, so I can go back out like the Buffalo Wild Wings again because they're closed. For now.
Well, I'm going to go wash my hands right now because I just talked to Ryan. He goes outside on a daily basis.
I'm definitely... I'm breathing on him right now. He's already he hasn't contracted corona, but he has contracted like my inconsistent upload schedule. Just wait till you see his next.
No.
It'll be like 5 months from now.
Remember, you can follow us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, and in many more places. On Anchor, you can send us voice memos, which is very cool.
And we may get back to you, and maybe you'll be featured on this.
If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe, and subscribe to my main channel, Smelly Cheese. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, link in the description.
And as far as my socials go, you can follow my YouTube channel, The Boss Official, down in the description below, where I have the most consistent uploads possible.
Oh, I have to put it? Oh, man.
And
forgot about it. Better luck next time, buddy.
Dang it! I hate you.
See you next week, where we talk about Ryan's experiences with BDSM.
It should be a fun one, guys. I have plenty of good stories, trust me.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.